Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Daily D. And as we continue on our topic, legacy, today I want to cover more in depth what a legacy looks like, if you will, and how we are creating one, whether we like it or not. Now, before we get to that, let's kind of recap on what a legacy is. So by sheer definition, a legacy is the transference of a possession to an heir or kin or a predecessor. And that's very simply understood. I'm going to pass something on. It could be wealth or money or real estate or a possession. But my definition very simply is carrying something that carries your remembrance. Something that carries your remembrance. So let's talk about what is important about a legacy. Well, first off, I need you to know, and all of us need to know, that a legacy is being built for you no matter what you say right now. And it's either an asset, a liability, meaning either you're going to leave money behind or you're going to leave debt behind. It's either a positive or a negative, meaning it's going to be good or bad. It's either going to be fruitful or it's going to be what we'll call a weed. Either you have fruit, good garden, tend your garden, or you get weeds, right? Either it's going to be something that people celebrate or something people are repelled from. Something people don't say they want to celebrate you for. So when I think about the legacy that I want to leave and I want my family to know about me, I think about the things that I want to do in the end of my life, or not the end of my life. I want people to, what they're going to put on my tombstone, what people are going to say about me. And if you're like me, I think that it is our right to leave something greater behind. And I believe that you should leave the world better than you found it. It's a very simple definition for me. Leave the world better than you found it. That's my legacy. So I'm going to give you the 3 steps you can take, very simple steps, to forming your legacy. So number one thing is define what you want your remembrance to be. So very simple. Go to the end of your life, imaginary, close your eyes, cover your eyes, whatever, and just say, what do I want people to remember me for? How do I want them to remember me by? Right? I want them to remember me as a contributor, as a giver, as a great person, healthy, wealthy, caring, funny, things of that nature, right? And then once I do that, now I got to define my values. Once I understand what I want people to remember me for, and by the way, maybe it's not just the values at the beginning that you need to define. Maybe it's just, how do you think people should think about you when you're gone? Do you want them to think good or bad? Do you want them to, does it matter to you? Because some people it doesn't matter, right? Some people say, I'm here to have my own life, YOLO, right? I'm only going to do this once, who cares? It doesn't matter. I didn't come here with anything, I don't need to take anything. I don't care about life, I don't care about anybody else but me. I know those people. But for the most part, I believe most people inherently want to leave something behind. So think about what you want to leave behind, how you want to leave it behind, and be kind of specific, really. I mean, when I think about things I want to leave behind, I want to leave behind wealth. I want to leave behind some real estate. I want to leave behind some really cool possessions. But more importantly, I want to leave behind some good values. I want people to remember me for being a man of integrity, a man of honesty, a caring man, a loving man, a contributor to the community, a family man, a giver. Right? These are things I want to be remembered for. So then I go back, once that's number one, once I define that, then I need to go and define my values and my principles that match that. Because they have to have values and principles to match my legacy. So honesty is part of it. Integrity is part of it, right? Great, a contributor is part of it. And so then my principles, every time I have the opportunity to make a decision, it guides me there. They're my guiding principles, my guiding values. Once I make those decisions, then every single day I've got to make a decision to follow them. Step 3 is follow them faithfully, fruitfully, religiously, if you will. Don't deviate from your values and principles. Every time you're challenged with something to do, that you have to make a decision, that you have to do something, remember your values and they will lead you in the right direction. They will lead you in the right direction. For an example, if you want to leave wealth behind, to your family, to your kids, to your kids' kids, right? If you want to leave wealth behind, wealth comes from assets, things that you own. And I don't mean through the TVs, because that's not, they'll be gone in 5 years. TV's gone. It doesn't mean in jewelry, because unless you're buying the most expensive jewelry out in the world that is valued at millions of dollars, passing on a wedding band that cost you $1,000 isn't really passing on wealth. I mean, you may be passing on a very valuable part of your memories, but it won't be wealth. So real wealth is from assets that hold and appreciate in value. So think about like real estate, think about stocks, think about investments in businesses, think about those things. And so if you think about those things, what are you doing every day that gets you towards those things? And so here's the real example. For an example, most people don't own a home today. I mean, there's a lot of people, but there's some people who don't. And if you don't own a home, if you're part of that group, here's what I'll tell you. What are you doing every day to get there? Because that's part of building wealth. Do you want to leave a home to your children? So when you make a decision every day, do I need a new car? I mean, maybe you do need a car because your car broke, but if you don't need a new car, then why would you buy one instead of using that money to get you into a new home because you don't have one? Why would you go buy a ring or a piece of jewelry, a purse, when you don't have the second home, the third home? Now, I'm not saying you can't do both, but most people can't afford to do both. So you got to make decisions. If you can do both, then do both. But wealth is transferred when you make investments. And every day you have the opportunity to make an investment. Do I need to go out to the $100 dinner every weekend? Do I need to do that? Do I need to spend the money? Those are decisions that are guided by your values. Values leaving legacy. Legacy is I'm going to leave wealth for generations. How could you possibly do that when you spend every dollar on things that you'll never get money from? And an asset is something that appreciates, meaning it grows in value. And a liability is the food we eat, because even though it may give you some nutritional value, you can get the same nutritional value from a meal you cook at home, if not more better, than at the restaurant that you spend $100. So think about these two. So let me recap. Step one, define what your legacy should be or what you want it to be. Number two, create values and principles that guide you there. And number three, follow them religiously. All right, guys, I hope you got something out of this. I wish you nothing but health, wealth, success, but most importantly, freedom. Thanks, guys.